Hello, Jesse would like to welcome you to May Marvin Gardens 2017, as would Frankie. And everyone is wearing American flag scarfies because it's late May, so late that we've actually had Memorial Day weekend come and go. And so it's actually, truthfully, the very last day of May. But it's still May, and you can tell it's May because why? Because the chives are blooming, and so are irises, in this case, yellow pond irises. And we've got the water feature going, although it doesn't look like extremely impressive. We got a little purple pond iris in there, and water hyacinths, and umbrella plant, and kind of not so healthy. Well, I wouldn't say they're not healthy. There's just not very many of them. But those are horsetail bamboo. And along in through here, no man's land. Eventually we'll probably plant some leftover seedlings in here. And the pet memorial area is looking a lot better thanks to Vanina cleaning it all up, laying down some rocks there to help with weed prevention. And our little reposing dachshund is looking very comfortable. And our black dachshund is looking like he needs to find something, or is about to find something. But don't dig under the fence, boy. We don't need that. Meanwhile, the rest of bed 1, you might be able to see here, is corn. And some of this corn I just transplanted today. Some of it's been in here for a while. We had some spotty corn germination, and that's why some are much bigger than others, but that's okay because that'll give us a little bit of a staggered harvest, so no complaints there. Bed number 2, we get some marigolds in the end here, volunteers that we transplanted, and the tomatoes are looking, let me go around this way, are looking very nice and healthy. They are due to be caged up, which we'll be doing, maybe as early as tomorrow. But as you might be able to see, they're blooming already. So where there's blooms, there's tomatoes coming pretty soon thereafter. These are all peppers, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and a row of eggplants. The eggplants also looking pretty good. And if you look down here closely, right down in there, that's an eggplant bloom, which of course will turn into an eggplant. A couple of rows of leeks here, which seem to be doing fairly well. And as you can tell, I've put down some hay mulch all over the place, including bed 3, which is potatoes. Potatoes were they were just coming up last month when we did the video, and I've hilled them up at least twice and now added the hay mulch. So they are well on their way. And this is garlic on the right there, on the extreme right, and the rest of these are 3 varieties of onions, and all doing quite nicely, as the saying goes. And we got some dianthus that wintered over and came up just fine in the flower central here, and also some marigolds transplanted by Vanina coming up. And look at these strawberries. These strawberries just love these big planters that are out here, so I've just kind of let them go. And golly, I don't know if I can. That is a strawberry, right? Oops, right down in there. There's 1 or 2 right there as well. It's just going to be a question of how I keep the birds and the vermin from getting to the strawberries before I do. This is also a sunflower and some garlic planted there because I had some extra garlic left over. And here over in bed number 4, artichokes. Now, artichokes grew pretty well, not last year, but I think the year before was when I tried them. But they were crowded out, so I've given them much more space in hopes that we'll actually get some artichokes. They seem to be doing fine. And these 2 rows are new for me, the celery and celeriac. And I think this lighter one is the celeriac, and this is the celery, it looks like, to me. And they seem to be happy, as are these 2 rows of peas, pea pods, Chinese pea pods and snap peas. And this is pole beans, also in bed number 4 here, and as you can maybe see, they are starting to climb the trellises, some of them at least. And I did them a little bit differently in that instead of facing these A-frames across the bed, they're lengthwise, and I think that gives them a little more room, so we'll see. But that cut down on my room for sweet potatoes, and this is the sweet potatoes, which typically don't look very good when they first go in, but they do seem to be surviving, and I only have 1 row instead of what I had planned to have, which is 2, because I kind of cut down my space available with the pole beans. But hopefully they'll do okay, and I have yet to put my rodent protectors on there, so we'll talk about that when I get them on there. Now here are the brassicas, and looking really fine. Kale, which I have not grown before, or so long ago that I don't remember. This is cabbage in this row. These are broccoli, and if you look closely down here, you might be able to see that there's actually a broccoli head starting to form there. And the same with the cauliflower. Again, if you look carefully, you can see that there's a little cauliflower head there, about golf ball size, I guess, starting to form. And the last row here is Brussels sprouts, which have typically a long way to go. Now, these are radishes, and as you can probably see, we've got some radishes that are ready to go. And then 2 rows of carrots. They are due to be thinned. And a couple of rows of romaine lettuce here, or this might be Bibb lettuce, come to think of it. I think that's what I did this year. And these guys are ready to be harvested, at least some of them. And I have a partial row back there that's planted much later, so they're staggered. Now, we did have problems with spinach, which is what these 2 rows that you can't really tell are rows. They seem to be recovering, but when they were planted, I had a lot of this going on, which is, just yellowing leaves, and not really sure why. There was something about either when I transplanted them or something in the soil that they did not like. But I think they're doing better now. These are ground cherries, or sometimes referred to as tomatillos also. And they're doing pretty good. And then followed by 2 rows of okra. And some of them are rather small, but some of them are looking pretty healthy. So we'll see how those guys do. And then this is the other bed that I just planted today, or transplanted, the seedlings. And this entire row is, or entire bed is sunflowers. There's 5 per row there. And I'm also, there's a lot of volunteer marigolds that are coming up. And I'm just letting them letting them grow in between, because I don't think they're going to interfere with the sunflowers at all. Now, out in the external bed, we have winter squash, pumpkins, and melons. And so I'll take a quick walk out there, because there's really not much to look at, actually, because I've got these floating row covers over everything, and that's really for pest control. The place where I bought my seeds, Johnny's, suggested that you use these floating row covers over everything for the early plants to keep the bugs from getting in. And if you recall, my biggest problem with winter squash, or with all cucurbits as they're called, winter squash, melons, pumpkins, and summer squash, is keeping the vines healthy and free from bug attacks and mildew and all that kind of stuff. So I'm hopeful, but skeptical that this is going to help some, because once they start putting out blooms, you need to take them off so that they can get pollinated. So I'm not sure what Frankie is barking at over there, but let's see, what else can I show you? I guess we'll take a quick walk out here to the apple tree, which is the only thing that remains of what used to be the mini orchard. But it's the one red delicious apple tree, and last year we had virtually nothing. This year I think we're doing potentially a little bit better. As you can see, all those little red potential future apples. Did I say red? Green, which will eventually be red, hopefully, if they get to full size. But it looks like at least we've got, for right now, a fair amount of them. And let me cut so I can run into the rest of the fruit tree population. So hang on here. So inside the confines of the backyard, we have our little pear tree, which right now is showing pretty good promise. You can see all the little green pears there, and hopefully, if the insects and the birds and the squirrels don't get them, we'll get a few this fall. And this is the nectarine tree, and as you can see, there's quite a few nectarines on this little tiny tree. And there again, we just got to keep our fingers crossed come the fall. And even the peach tree here has a few peaches on it, less than the nectarine, but at least there's a few there. So we'll see what happens. So that takes care of the fruit department, because I'm not going to show you crab apples because they're way out there. Did a lot of work on the pond in the busiest month of the year outside. Can't really see very much right now because the light isn't quite right, but completely relined everything and got all the pond plants that weren't working out and put new ones in and repotted them, and everything is blooming and looking pretty nice. Look at these dianthus around the sundial, which actually covers the well. But those are all those all wintered over. Everything there has wintered over, and looking very nice. And we even have a couple of these. They're sort of like lilies, red blooming pond plants, and we planted those from seed, and they seem to be doing pretty well, actually. So we're excited about that. Brings us back into the garden, and Jolie, who was freaking out a little bit because she thought Vanina was coming. But I told her Vanina's not coming for a couple more days, which is almost 2 weeks in dog years. Or dog days, should I say. Hi, Jessie. What's going on? It's May, right? It's a nice time in the garden, isn't it? She says, yeah, but I just soon go inside. So what else we got going on? We got some marigolds hanging around here, and these mint all wintered over and are looking very good. In the mini greenhouse, we've got all leftover seedlings, tomatoes and peppers and some brassicas and ground cherries and sunflowers and some winter squash, and that stuff we might end up planting over in this no man's land, like I mentioned earlier. Like I said, we're due to do the tomato cages, which are all hanging out right there, waiting for me to take care of that chore. And but that's about it, I guess. I don't know what else to show you, because that's all there is. It's a lovely May day. It's actually the last day of May, but we're still under the wire. And there's been a lot of rain and unsettled weather in the last few weeks, actually, and even Memorial Day was kind of drizzly, but it was good enough. And we do have quite a good garden going here. We've had our share of issues, but things are doing pretty well. And next month is typically, as I am fond of saying, when what you think is a potential garden turns into a real life garden. And it's pretty close to there now, I would say. We have yet to actually harvest anything but asparagus, which we pulled off the back deck a little bit. But we're actually due to harvest some lettuce and some and radishes and stuff, and probably even the kale. We could pull some of that as well. So we are rolling as far as a real live garden around here, and but that's going to do it. And we will see you in next month, which is June, and when everything really starts to turn into a real live garden, right, Frankie? I don't know if you can see all the mud on his face. Oops, but he's been digging. And look, Jesse says, "Time to go in, Dad." Okay. Yeah, well, all right. But I just have a couple more sips of wine to go, so then we'll go in. And Jolie, Vanina is coming, but not for a couple of days yet, okay? So this is Wednesday, then we gotta get through Thursday, then she's coming on Friday, okay? Okay, bye y'all, we'll see you in June.